Yes. You've tuned into the Political Vigilante. That means maybe you want something a little different. You don't want your crazy, lie-filled bag of corporate nonsense that the mainstream media will feed you. Or maybe you just stumbled across this and you're like, who's this jackass? Either way, thanks for watching. Seattle, doing 2 shows. Political Vigilante Live August 9th, stand-up comedy August 11th. Tickets at the show notes below at grahamelwood.com. And please support the Patreon. You get to do cool stuff like you get bonus video. I'm going to film the entire show in Seattle. I'm going to cut up some clips of it, put it on YouTube and Daily Motion, but I'm going to drop the entire live show for the $10 and up Patreon supporters. I want to try to give you guys more bonus content now that I got the new fancy studio and everything. Aw, snap, bam, bam, boom, 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 boom. I don't know why I'm doing that music. Here's a fun article in truthdig.com. Oh, the Earth could be less than 2 degrees from a catastrophe, a new study finds. Oh, that's always good times. I'll go into this article, and it's something we've been talking about a lot on this show. We've been talking a lot about what we need to do for the environment. The good thing about this article and the study is they're like, it's pretty, you know, pretty precarious right now, but we got a chance. We have still an opportunity to change things and to reverse climate. We have a chance at doing it. It's not like, oh, the world's over. Because I think that's part of the problem is people just read these statistics and go, oh, there's nothing I can do. Well, I guess I won't have kids, so my grandkids don't have to eat each other for drinkable water or whatever 50, 60 years from now. So here's what it is. Published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, the new study, while not conclusive in its findings, warns that humanity may be just 1 degree Celsius, 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit, away from creating a series of dynamic feedback loops that could push the world into a climate scenario not seen since the dawn of the Heliocene period nearly 12,000 years ago. So what are these loops? I'll show you a map here. I hope it's legible. What this is a map of the United States, and this is what they call the climate cascade. Feedback loops could amplify one another, pushing Earth towards hothouse state, warn scientists. Now, these color are 1 to 2.9 degrees. This is 3.3 to 4.9 and 5 and above. So this is the map. So this is North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. So like you look at this, there's the Arctic summer ice sheet, right? So that pushes to that affects the Greenland ice sheet. Right? And this affects the ocean current circulation here, which affects El Nino, which goes to the Amazon rainforest. Right? See this? The Arctic summer ice sheet then affects the jet stream, the boreal forest. The alpine glaciers creates the Indian summer monsoon and the East Antarctic ice sheet and the coral reefs, right? You see how this is all connected? They all influence each other. We talk about this a lot on the show, how everything's connected. With the environment, the planet Earth, everything absolutely is connected. And they're saying what just 1 degree Celsius or 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit can affect all of this. To whereas the study says that right now we have a say, the humans are affecting the climate, right? And the Earth is just sort of operating on it's operating sort of in conjunction with us, basically. What this study says, and again, this link will be in the show notes below, it's in truthdig.com, the Earth is going to then just start this hothouse where it's going to just get hotter and hotter and hotter on its own, and it'll get to the point where there's nothing we can do about it. So that's what this study is like. It could get to that, but we could also stop it, right? And here's what one of the Dr. Phil Williamson said. In the context of the summer of 2018, this is definitely not a case of crying wolf raising a false alarm. The wolves are now in sight, said Dr. Phil Williamson, a climate researcher at the University of East Anglia, about the latest study. I don't know what more those that are in power need to see and hear. And it's why I get so mad, like when conservatives are like, oh, the liberal media. CNN isn't liberal. They're not liberal. They'll bring on you know, Jimmy Dore has shown this. I mean, we've talked about this at great length, but I'll keep talking about it. They'll bring on a climate science expert, Bill Nye, or somebody like that, who's just like, look, the research, the climate change is happening, it's bad for the planet. And they'll go, well, let's hear both sides of the story. They always do that. They always do that. It's just like, well, you know, let's hear both sides of the story. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. Yeah, and if I have a fistful of bullets and a ping pong paddle, how many people can I kill? The gun really helps killing people. Climate is changing. Carbon emissions are forcing it. All right, this isn't cyclical. We're pushing this in a really awful direction, which means we could pull it back. Somebody on Twitter, Nick Swindon, all right, this is this by far the biggest political issue in the world. It is the one thing that will affect everyone on the planet for centuries to come. Why isn't everyone shouting it from the rooftops? Because the BBC published this study, right? Risk of hothouse Earth despite CO2 cuts. Researchers warn that even limited climate warming could trigger conditions not seen in a million years. August 6th, 2018. Why isn't everyone shouting it from the rooftops? The oil industry creates jobs. Gee, I wonder if we could create jobs reversing this. It's doable. The technology is not some like far off, like, oh, when we get tractor beams for our spaceships, then we can. No, it's here. It's now. Solar panels are everywhere. There's new technology being created every day on the shoulders of the green technology that already has been developed for the last 3-4 decades. I drive an electric car. There's electric charging stations all over California. A couple weeks ago, I went down to San Diego on an electric car that gets 90 miles off a charge. I drove down to San Clemente, which is about 60 miles down. Had lunch with a buddy, charged my car in 30 minutes, got back, boom, went to San Diego. Drove all around San Diego. I was shooting a movie, I was doing interviews, I did shows, bing, bang, boom. It's all doable. Somebody built that car. You know, I took it to the service center. That, you know, they rotate it. There's not as much service to be done to it, but like, we could all be put to work reversing this. And here's what they say. In order to avoid the worst case scenarios, the researchers behind the study say that collective human action is required. Collective human action is required. All of us. All of us. Yeah, it'll really help if all of those in power really pull their head out of their ass. This is why I can't do any incrementalism anymore. I can't do any, oh, Trump's evil, just any Democrat in there. I don't care. I want a real progressive with a Green New Deal. That's what I want. And I'm not gonna back down from that, because if we do, we all have to shout from the rooftops. The environment is collapsing. We're gonna watch this in real time. And if we don't do something about it, this is the thing. Everything can collapse. And the solution could save everything. It could save jobs, poverty, all of it. All of it. If we just put all the resources, got rid of this capitalist bullshit, and just like everyone gets to be a part of this, everyone gets health care, everyone gets a college degree where we're going to study about how to fix the environment, because everybody, like America did with World War II, everyone was involved in the war effort in one capacity or another. Everybody. You worked in the factories, you saved your tin, we need that globally to save the environment. Otherwise, human beings are going to die. You get it? Collective human action is required to steer planet's systems away from dangerous tipping points. Because the planet is basically going, this is how Mother Nature works. Something starts to bother it or hurt it or damage it, boom, it expunges it. You're gone. Such action, they write, This isn't, these are scientists writing this. These are like hippies, you know, at Coachella, you know, in a tent smoking weed who came up with this plan. Such action, they write, entails stewardship of the entire Earth system, biosphere, climate, and societies, and could include decarbonization of the global economy. I've talked about that, the carbon bubble. I've been talking about that for as long as I've been doing this show. 3 years ago, the governor of the Bank of England warned about the carbon bubble collapsing. All of these companies have put hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars into the economy. What could kill the oil industry is not when we run out, but when investors go, oh, there's no more profits 20 years from now. So what the governor of the Bank of England, I don't think he's a tree-hugging hippie, said we need to deflate the bubble slowly. That's what they're talking about here. The decarbonization of the global economy. We can do that. You don't just shut down all the oil refineries, but you start building the green factories and then incorporate everybody in there. There's a bunch of economists and people way smarter than me that can come up with this and already have. This is a study by a bunch of big brains. Not jackass public school road comics wearing superhero t-shirts that are too tight for them. Look at the guns. Decarbonization of the global economy, enhancement of biosphere carbon sinks, behavioral changes, that includes all of us, right? Little things, I've talked about this. Some of you are like, Graham, I live out in the country and there's no charging, it doesn't work for what I do. Totally get that. Is there a way to leave your car at home? Is there a way to get a car and convert it to biodiesel? Right? If you live in an urban area, I mean, public transportation, riding a bike, carpooling, I know those seem like small things, but they're not. They're big things. Turning the water off when you brush your teeth. You know how much water one person can save from doing that? We need to think about our carbon footprint in everything that we do. In everything that we do. Everything that we do. Technological innovations, new governance arrangements. Now these are all tied together here. The government puts money into research, into R&D for new technologies that could reverse climate change. Wow. There's college tuition. Like if everyone got a college degree, and guess what? You're all going to be studying how someone's going to figure out, we're going to give you a college degree and we're going to give you money to go into research, you know, a think tank or whatever, to come up with new technological innovations. You see how it's all connected like this? If everyone's just barely getting by and they've got to do 2 and 3 jobs to get by and they're just shopping and taking selfies and going YOLO or whatever, or just, we need to put all of our brain power to use. Get a whole bunch of smart people together. All those high school kids that started doing the March for Our Lives, they're going to get real gun reform because they're like, we're done. Guess what? The school year's coming up soon. There's going to be another school shooting. I hate saying that. It makes me sick that that's a reality, but it is. And they're going to do more walkouts. That's what we need. Everyone should be working on the environment. Everyone in one capacity or another. In one way or another. Some of you are like, Graham, we need campaign finance reform. We need election reform because without that, we can't then get real candidates in there to address the environment. Baby, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. We got to attack this thing from all sides. That's what the study is talking about. New governance arrangements and transform social values. This is from John Quilly of Common Dreams. Instead of governments fighting over territory and oil, we all got to get together and go, how can we do this? How can we do this? Right? You got a bunch of desert land. Let's do you know, like California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and those Mexican states that border it. There's a lot of just arid desert. Oh, let's put some solar farms out there. Whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's get everybody together. And this like build a wall, jackassery, and then the neoliberal bullshit, none of that's going to work. We need real progressives to get in there and get this fixed. And it's very, very doable. And that's why I and you are all making Gotham great.